All right, let's dive into a question that seems super simple on the surface. But trust me, it's anything but. Who really owns your debt? So picture this. You're going through your mail and bam, there it is. A court summons. It's a lawsuit for an old credit card debt demanding thousands of dollars. But the weird part, the company that's suing you, you've never even heard of them. Your first thought is probably this has to be a scam, right? Or at least a mistake. And, it could be. But it's way more likely that you've just been dropped into the beginning of a pretty complex legal and financial maze. And today, we're going to find the way out. And this is where things get really interesting. The big question we're digging into isn't just, did you owe the money in the first place? No. The real question is, do you owe the money to this specific company that's suing you? They're the ones who have to prove they're the rightful owner. And believe me, that's often a lot harder than it sounds. Okay, so the first piece of this puzzle is what you could call a debt shell game. See, over the years, banks are constantly merging, buying each other out, changing their names. The bank where you opened that credit card years ago, it might not even exist anymore, at least not in the way you remember it. Let's walk through a classic example from our source material. Say, back in the 90s, you opened a card with a bank called MBNA. Then in 2006, MBNA merges with Bank of America. A year after that, it changes its name to FIA Card Services. So fast forward to today, and a lawsuit from FIA could be totally legitimate. But how on earth do they prove that whole story? And this right here is the absolute key. The company suing you has the legal burden to prove that entire history. They can't just walk into court and say, hey, trust us, we own it now. Nope. They need to present actual admissible evidence that shows a clear, unbroken line of ownership from the original bank all the way to them. And you would be shocked at how weak this evidence can be sometimes. In one real case, a debt collector literally tried to prove a bank merger by showing the judge a New York Times article and a printout from Wikipedia. I'm not kidding. And as you can probably guess, the court was like, yeah, no, that's not real evidence. Okay, so bank mergers, that's one layer of confusion. But now we're going to add a whole other much crazier layer, the securitization twist. This is where your debt stops being a simple IOU and takes a weird turn into becoming an asset that's bought and sold on Wall Street. So what is securitization? Well, here's the basic idea. The bank takes the right to receive future payments, that your monthly payments from thousands and thousands of accounts, bundles them all up into one giant package, and then sells that package to a special kind of trust. Let's trace the journey, right?